Just for the record, Cassandra Peterson is 70 years old. Just let that sink in. My God, she looks amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and we are still in the middle of spooky season, and I've got a good retro review for you. It's a movie I've never actually seen until very recently, Elvira Mistress of the Dark. It is a horror comedy from 1988. The stars Cassandra Peterson, who plays the iconic Elvira, and I've known of Elvira. I've seen her at conventions before, and she's iconic. She's been in the median for ever, basically. And this was her big movie. I believe she's done another movie, but I believe this was the first. In that she portrays herself, and she inherits a mansion from a deceased relative in a very small, very uptight town. I'm not sure if I caught the name of the town, but basically she has to go there to inherit the mansion, and she's just really just trying to get to Vegas to put on her new show to get out of this rut of just hosting old horror, goofy flicks at a movie theater that she was doing beforehand. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun movie. I never saw it before. It was just something I just was like, I knew of its existence. I'd known of the character. I know how iconic the character is. I just never watched the movie. And I gotta say, the movie was a lot of fun. It's a very raunchy comedy. It's a horror comedy, so there's not really a lot of horror elements to it. There's supernatural elements involved in it, with the fact that she is inherently has mystical powers due to her lineage, and that she learns more about herself as the movie progresses. And one thing about the movie that I found super interesting was that it didn't jump into the horror elements immediately. It didn't really become AKA a horror movie until like closer to the third act. It's really more so like a raunchy comedy. She's very proud of her body, and she flaunts it. And in this small, sleepy little town, it's very stuck up. It's very repressed, basically. It's like Footloose if Footloose was a horror comedy, basically. You got this mysterious person comes to town, throws the town up in a hussy, and teaches the people how to dance, or in this case, not burn her at the stake like a witch. And for a movie that came out in 1988, I gotta admit, it was a lot more raunchier than I originally expected. I knew that, the character design of Elvira, of course, is very provocative and very sexualized in terms of, her cleavage is hanging out the entire time. But I didn't expect a lot of what was going on in the movie. There's so much flirtation and stuff, and it's funny, and to me, like, the funniest scene of the movie was after Elvira learned of her abilities, or her abilities to use witchcraft, and she tries to get back at some of the townsfolk who have really kind of made her time there difficult. So she attempts to recreate a dish that she made for a love interest that she was trying to seduce the entire movie, which ended up turning into some like weird demonic creature, and that was kind of funny into itself. That was probably the most horror aspect of the movie besides the final act of the movie. But she tries to recreate the dish and to unleash this creature on these town folks as revenge. But instead, she changes up the recipe a little bit because she's kind of lazy in the movie, and ends up causing the town folks to get super horny to the point where it just turns into one gigantic orgy in the park. Granted, there's no nudity or anything like that, but it was so out of left field and hilarious. It was so funny to the point where one of the main ladies, and no bullshit, sits right down on another guy's face for dessert. You kind of get what's happening here. But it was so out of left field, and it was just funny. The main antagonist of the movie is her uncle. I believe that character's name is Vincent, who ends up absorbing the dark energy and goes full like crypt keeper on her, trying to kill her, and it basically goes full Skybeam at the end of the movie, before Skybeams were a thing. It's the you have to watch the movie and kind of take, of course, a lot of logic out of the window, because towards the third act, the townsfolk completely turn on her, except for the kids, because the kids like her. But the townfolk turn on her to the point where they try to burn her at the stake. And then less than 8 hours later in movie time, after she defeats her uncle, everybody's like, "We're sorry that we tried to kill you."
8 hours later.
This is our way of saying we were wrong about you, and we're sorry.
I'm sorry that I set you on fire and everything, and I hope there are no hard feelings.
I'm just like, do not let them get away with that. It's insane. But it was a lot of fun. I like how the character of Elvira breaks the fourth wall multiple times during the movie, and being that we live in this age now where we have stuff like Deadpool and Hot Shots and other sort of comedies that know that they're in a movie, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It was nice to see something so early in movie history really kind of break that mold and give it a shot more than most movies would end up replicating that sort of formula at later dates. So it's fun revisiting a lot of classics like this. It's campy, it's fun, it doesn't shy away from being kind of raunchy and over-sexualized, and it's like a weird amped up to 11 version of like Footloose, again, because it has a person coming to a sleepy town, turning the town up on its head and teaching the people how to loosen up and be more of who they are. It was just a lot of fun to watch, and I'm really glad I got to check it out. I'm kind of kicking myself that I never watched it a lot earlier, because I love comedies like that where it's just kind of off the wall and it sometimes doesn't make any sense, and there's a ton of like really subtle crash and dry humor. It's like, I'm such a big dry humor guy. I'm like, any Mel Brooks movie, it's a lot of that humor is very subtle and dry, but also kind of in your face, and that's what Elvira Mistress of the Dark really kind of reminded me of, is a lot of comedies like that I really enjoyed. So I'm really glad I got to check it out. It's not necessarily a super hardcore horror movie. It's not your Freddy, it's not your Michael Myers, it's not your Jason, but it definitely fits the theme of this month, and it's one of those that, for a retro review, is definitely something I never expected to, it's not something I've seen before. So it was even more entertaining to watch it for the first time. And it's definitely going to be something I feel like I will revisit every year, kind of as a nice little movie to watch during the holiday season. So that is kind of my thoughts and overall experience with Elvira Mistress of the Dark. I'm sure many people have seen it before and probably can give a lot more credence to how it's impacted them. As a new person to her work, besides just knowing of the character and knowing of her in the medium, this was a lot of fun to check out, and I'm really glad that I got to watch it. So that's my review of Elvira Mistress of the Dark. Hopefully you've had a chance to check it out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you've seen it before, if it's one of your favorites, let me know some of your favorite scenes from the movie. Like I said, my favorite one is definitely that picnic scene. It is insanely funny, and it was just something that just caught me way off guard, and I really enjoyed it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. This is all my videos. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, hi, how's it going? My name's Will. I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, gaming, drinking, discussions, but usually all wrapped around some form of geekiness. So if that is your bag, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'd love to get to know you and hear your thoughts in the comments. You can hit me up on most social media at TheGeekWill. All those links are at the end of this video and in the description below. Ton of videos on the channel right now. Hopefully you'll join me for those. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.